Hi, Claire.
Hi, Jennifer.
I'm glad you could join me today. So I can't believe it. It's almost a year since we launched our Human Intelligence series.
It is kind of unbelievable, and yet what a year, right?
It's been pretty fabulous. We've had about 60 or so interviews now. We've talked to a range of really interesting subject matter experts. We've talked with people about things like unconscious bias, creativity, leadership, complex problem solving. What were some of your favorites?
I don't, off the top of my head, I'm going to say Lindsay interviewing Adam Grant was a highlight for me.
It's for me too.
And we've reached a lot of people, right?
We have, and we've had some great internal people coming in and presenting, as well as external people, and lots of really helpful, actionable advice that you can use in your job today. So last week, the World Economic Forum launched its 2018 Future of Jobs report, and I know you had a really great time reading it, and so did I. There's a lot of growth and change predicted, and some shift in roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, what struck me was a couple of things. One is it just built on what the previous World Economic Forum report had on it. It also has a deep connection to what we've been doing with thinking about disruption of the profession. And then, of course, a piece of it I like quite a bit is it talks a lot about the importance of learning in it.
Right. We're all going to need to be lifelong learners. And there was a statistic in there that we're going to need quite a bit of learning between now and 2022.
I know. So it is essentially plus or minus 168 weeks to 2022, and it says we need 101 days of learning. That's a lot. But I don't think insurmountable, and for good reason. What were those numbers they had in there about jobs? So it wasn't just doom and gloom like your job's going to go away, but also new jobs are coming?
Right. So I think it was around 70 some odd million jobs that could be displaced by 2022, but they were also predicting that there would be 133 million new roles and jobs that we don't have today. So if you spend the time doing the learning and developing the skills that you need, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. And one of the things I know we talk about is that learning doesn't always have to be formal.
Oh no, I think like peer-to-peer learning, informal learning. So for example, but learning should be active. I think that was another key. So for example, you listen to a human intelligence podcast, you can turn that into like an active learning experience by thinking about what I'm hearing, does that apply to my job or a situation I'm in right now? You could also, kind of like the phone a friend thing, you could just listen to human intelligence with a friend. I'm not kidding. And just have a dialogue. Have we seen that happen in the workplace this week? Or how could we leverage that in the workplace? And that can really make a difference.
So really taking the time to reflect on what you've learned and apply what you've learned and doing that peer-to-peer learning.
Yeah, exactly. And so when we think about that, and I think that this goes back to the 101 days of learning, because they say it's not just kind of building your technical skills. I don't think it's just building any skill. I think it's you have to build and you have to contextualize everything, right? So you have to understand if blockchain is the thing you need to know about. It's not just that you need to know the technical aspects of blockchain. You're going to need to know how is it going to apply to my business and what am I going to do with that information.
And then your human skills can help you figure out how to sell some of those ideas or get people on board, influence people, and help them participate in whatever project you're working on. So one of the things I also found really interesting in the report was there's some changing skills, some skills that are growing in importance, right? So we know we've talked about learning. Learning's second on the list now. There's also analytical thinking and innovation, creativity and originality. And the report went on to talk about the fact that your human skills, many of them are growing in importance.
Right, and I think that a reason for that is when you have things like robotic process automation, those high volume, repetitive kind of tasks are going to just go away. A machine is going to take care of that. Or machine learning, we've been talking about chatbots, and our editorial team has a solution that does half its copy editing, has cut its copy editing time by 50% because of machine learning. So as a result, you're going to have to think of those things that are really value driving for your organization that are going to rely on your innovation, analytic thinking, et cetera, all those things you said, and your creativity.
Yeah. So we have a new human intelligence ebook that will be coming out this fall, and in that we will have a learning plan template that you can fill out and just start to think about what skills you want to learn and how you want to apply your learning time. So why are learning plans important to our success as learners?
Well, if we have 101 days of learning that we need to get done between now and 2022, we have to be really intentional.
Right.
And I think the learning plan helps you be very intentional. It helps you think about, what am I doing today that's going to help me develop as an individual and drive value for my organization? But I think it's also helping people really think about, where do I want to be and how do I get there?
Okay, that's great to think about it in those terms. And so Claire, I'm just going to ask you one more question. What's on your learning plan?
Wow. I'm going to say 4 things. They're not all work related, if that's all right.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
They didn't say that they all had to be related to work.
Okay. So I am super interested in blockchain. So I want to know more about blockchain. I also reading that World Economic Forum report and just thinking about, I think, data analytics and how you take data to drive decisions within your organization. Very interested in that from a strategy perspective, not data scientists. I also need to learn how to make cannoli without burning the cannoli wrapper. And I want to improve my Italian. So
those two seem related.
They are. How about you? What do you want to learn?
What do I want to learn? Well, I'd like to improve my leadership skills and be a better coach and mentor.
Oh, that's awesome. Good.
And then on a personal standpoint, I'd like to get back into my yoga practice.
Excellent. Well, so we should check in.
Yes.
In a couple weeks.
And I'll come to dinner.
Okay.
For cannoli.
Yes. Maybe for dessert.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this short update on the human intelligence skills you'll need for 2022.
Thanks, Jennifer.